Day 26, Marchus Annus. This video is going to be a little bit unique because, as always, I didn't really have any ideas, and I can't go outside and be confident. I can't be confident around people because I can't be around people. So I put my confidence in accepting suggestions from people who typically don't take anything seriously. And I was going to treat the challenges seriously. And I actually did get mostly serious suggestions, but I got 2 that weren't. And one of them is going to be a bit hard to interpret, and it's going to be stupid, but it's going to be great. Okay, so the first one I was unsure about, because I asked my QPP first, obviously. I go to them first for everything. And they just said, P. And my first thought was just like, no, I would get banned. But then I realized, I'm taking every single thing that I can physically do, and I'm gonna do it in this video. So I'm sorry for this. Give me a second. Toilet time. Wash your hands, dummies. And dry your hands. So that was fun. I didn't do it while recording because I'm gonna save you all from the torture of the ASMR of my peeing. But I did it. Very cool. Thank you, QPP. Okay, the second one suggested my good pal Jonas was Sans. And he would not elaborate, so I had to make up what I'm going to be doing, what sans meant. I'm just going to do something short. I can't remember which I was. Yeah, that one, I think. I haven't played Genocide Route. I'm trying to. I started replaying the whole game. I'm on passive history right now. What? How does it go? It's a beautiful day outside. The birds are singing. The flowers are blooming. On days like this, kids like you should be burning in hell. Which is like a really raw-ass line. Okay. The third suggestion by my QPP was paint. I said I would do everything suggested of me, but unfortunately that's not possible because the only place I can paint is outside and it is quite wet, and I'm not willing to ruin the canvas I'm going to be using for schoolwork. Or, just ruining a canvas that cost money. So their second suggestion immediately afterwards was braid, which I think my hair is currently long enough to try to do, so let's get in position. Okay. I used to braid all the time when I was younger. I was so proud whenever I learned how, because simple tasks are very difficult for me typically. And I never really braided my own hair. It used to be longer. I would wear it longer when I was that age. But I always had this Ariel doll, this Ariel Barbie, who had really long, soft hair, and it was, bright red, which I thought was really pretty. So I would always braid that. It was really funny because I always took it into my sister's room to show how extremely proud I was of it, and damn it. And she would, I would show it to everyone, but especially her, and she would just like squeeze the braid I make and go, it's pretty strong. which is adorable. And I was so proud that I had made a strong braid. Oh, that's way too short. Let's just move that out of the way. Thing is, my hair is layered, so whenever it grows out like that, it doesn't grow even. I usually have an undercut, as you can tell by the long versus the shorter area. I always shave this side, but I can't get my hair cut or dyed because everything is cancelled. Everything is cool when you're in quarantine. Everything is cancelled due to COVID-19. Okay, I'm doing it. Am I? No, I wrapped it around the wrong way. God fucking... Okay, this is gonna take longer than I expected. I haven't braided it in a long time. And especially not on myself. Okay. What other things can I say? I remember I went to this, over the summer, volleyball camp. And by volleyball camp, I mean it was a few hours in the day. A few hours in the day dedicated to teaching elementary schoolers, I believe. Yeah, I was in elementary school. Volleyball in the high school gym because all of our schools were super duper close to each other. And everyone hated me, which is fine. I was super used to that in elementary school and also for the rest of my life. So I brought a knapsack. I love knapsacks back then. I always carried one with me everywhere, full of books and shit. Is this right? Yeah. Full of books and shit and whatnot. And I would always, during break and lunch, I don't know if I can. Hold on. So my phone did the very, very cool, very fun thing where it decides that I'm not going to have this app open anymore, and it goes to my home screen, which of course ends the video, so I'm gonna have to edit that in. So my sister likes to crochet, so I got 3 discarded strings that I'm going to braid, and I tape the top together. Well, if I do that like that, oh, I haven't even been keeping tally of how many times I've touched my face. I'm gonna have to watch this back and see how many times I did it. So I can't put this in my mouth. That definitely counts as 1. So I'll just do it like this. I'm sorry this video is going to be as tedious as it is. But I said I would do everything I was told to do. Yeah, so the story I was telling, it's not that interesting. I would bring my knapsack with me to the volleyball camp so that I had things to do during break because no one wanted to talk to me. And I would go up to the highest point in the bleachers with my apple that my mother packed for me for lunch. And one of the things I had in my bag was, at this point, Ariel had lost her body. Not entirely sure how or where it went, but she was bodiless. So I just had her disembodied head, and I would sit up in the bleachers and braid my beheaded Ariel's hair. And thinking back on it, that may be one of the reasons no one really wanted to talk to me. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because I just do whatever the hell I want, fuck other people. But that is, you know, most people typically are not fond of that kind of behavior. And you know what, that's fine, that's their prerogative. I had mine, you know? This is actually really kind of cool color combination. Okay, that's as much as I'm gonna do. Oh, it got fucked up. How did it get fucked up? Okay, you know what? Look. I can't even get that. The glare. Maybe in front of me? Maybe if I get closer. Yeah, there you go. You can see it. I braided. Okay. So that's that. And the next two are a lot easier, and I don't have to move and groove, but I do want to get out of the way of this light so that I can have better lighting. There we go. So, the next two things I was told to do, one by Damien, was to say a confident statement. What is a confident statement? Not necessarily something controversial. I don't really have that many controversial thoughts. What's a confident statement? I really should have prepared. I like being nice and accepting people as they are and not being mean about them. I really, really hate it whenever people judge other people for doing things that harm no one and make them happy. I think that that is the stupidest thing in the world. It is so mean, it's so cruel, it's just negativity, and you know, I get that that's human nature. Like, I don't even judge them for judging others. Obviously I do, it upsets me, and I want to protect the people that they're judging, but at the same time, I understand that that's human nature to judge others for not fitting in to your area of comfort, but still, like, just accept people. It's not super duper hard to do. Like, I used to judge people up and down and all around, and after just like a few years of practicing, you know, I'm a nicer and happier person, and I'm not telling people to just not judge, like, just don't do it to their face, like, that's, or behind their back, especially if you know them and you're supposed to be like friends with them, like, don't do that, especially. But if you just want to like vent to other people about someone doing something that you don't like, that's fine. And I just don't like being a part of it. I think it's really cruel and unnecessary, but that's just my sensitivities. So I guess that was a confident statement. And the last one, suggested by, I think, Terminator's cousin. I think. I can't pull up the image. I'm so sorry if I got that wrong. My phone's on vibrate again. Fuck all. I'm so sorry. I can't touch my hair. Was to talk about your favorite character or favorite character development. And that's actually something I've been meaning to do, that I've put on the back burner for whatever reason. Because I feel super duper uncomfortable whenever I talk about my special interests, because other people aren't as interested and I kind of ramble on. And I remember a few times in the past, two people at different intervals, you know, different periods of my life, who cared very, very deeply for me and would never say anything to hurt me, actually said, "I really don't care," to me, and those words exactly. Both of them, which was weird. They didn't even know each other. Whenever I was rambling on about my special interests, and ever since then, I just like, I know I'm annoying people. I know that they don't care, and they typically ignore me, and I'm just kind of talking to myself. And in a certain light, I am talking to myself right now. But that's something that's always bothered me, because I'm always thinking about my special interests. I draw them, I write about them, I only think about them. I seriously, whenever I have a really big special interest, I dream about them. And it's the only thing that's really on my mind and the only thing I want to talk about, but I really have to hold my tongue because I don't want to be that annoying presence for people. So I'm going to talk about it. My favorite character, my favorite character development. There's actually two at the moment, and you might have seen it in my Discord avatar. Let me just, here we go. In my Discord avatar, Hop and Bead from Pokemon Sword and Shield. They're just my babies, and I really, really love them. Like, I love everything. I love all the characters in Sword and Shield, but those two are just really, really up there for my favorites. And, of course, I ship them. They're so cute together. And I scour the internet for fan art and stories about them, because I just can't consume enough content. But the character development that they went through is also really substantial for both of them. Like, Hop at the beginning was just like this larger than life, kind of egotistical friend who really thought about, like, he was really nice to you and he adored his brother, obviously, but he was convinced that nothing could get in his way as far as battling and that he absolutely would become the champion. And he got really far because he's a really good trainer, but then you beat him, obviously. And for the after game, the post game with those awful fucking twins, who I also love, he went, like, you just see it in him as he goes through the different gyms. He's, you know, he's lost his fighting spirit, and he's constantly just like, I'm just gonna be in the way, I'm not a good enough trainer, I'm only here because my friend wanted me to be here. And then, you know, and that's obviously not the case, first of all, because he helps substantially, but because he didn't become the champion, he thinks that he's lost his purpose, and therefore he's not good at what he wanted to do, even though he is. But no one's telling him otherwise, which sucks. But then he gains confidence in himself by himself, with the help of you, in a way, because you help him realize this through by having him help you with the Dynamax Pokemon, is that he really wants to help Pokemon and people, so he becomes professor. And that's... I'm touching my face so much. Touches on us. I'm gonna have a lot of penalties at the end whenever I figure out what those penalties will be. And that's something that whenever you look back on it, you can really see to be something that he was definitely building up for, if he knew it or not, because he is known to have... He reads so many books on Pokemon. He studies them extensively, and he records all of Leon's matches and goes through them methodically, each one constantly, to study his methods. So he does a ridiculous amount of studying, but he never actually went out and trained his Wooloo, who he's had for years. And that's what Pokemon trainers are supposed to do. They're supposed to go out and grind and get the level of the Pokemon up and get training in. But he never did that. He only studied. And that was, like, further proven in Twilight Wings. I cannot express how happy I was to hear Hop's voice in Twilight Wings. I've watched that episode so many times. One time I woke up and I was just like, I'm not feeling it today. Then I watched the video and I was just like, okay, I'm ready for today, you know? And he actually says it, like, he's going through Leon's matches and he's studying all of Charizard's moves. And he looks at Wooloo and he says that, you know, all the moves that Wooloo know right now is Tackle and Defense Curl, and that they'll never make it to the league like this. And then he turns to the TV and says, okay, more studying. Like, anyone else would have gone out and, you know, gone into the tall grass and get some grinding done, but he didn't. He wanted to study. And so, even before he decided it, he's always been, you know, on the path to become professor. And he's studious, and he's smart, and, you know, he's excited to help people. He's altruistic. And so that character development was really unique, and I thought that was neat. And Bede, they're both very similar, because Hop wanted to surpass Leon to prove his worth to both everyone else, himself, and especially his brother. Bede wanted to become the champion to prove his worth to everyone, himself, and especially Chairman Rose. And, you know, he's got that tragic backstory of, you know, his parents abandoning him in the orphanage, and Rose, you know, giving him his first Pokemon and kind of pseudo-adopting him. But also Rose doesn't give a shit about who he is, and, you know, the way that he makes it seem out, it just seems out to be like a big PR stunt. Like, look at me, I adopted this poor orphan and I gave him a Pokemon, and now I've been training him, and now he's going to the league and he'll become the champion, and that's entirely, you know, representative of who I am. And quite similarly with Leon, since you know, he endorsed him whenever he was just a young kid, and then he became the champion. That looks super, super good for Rose. And so, and B did everything that he could to try and impress him, and he was, you know, really cocky and an asshole, because he was convinced that with Rose standing behind him, he was invincible, even though Rose wasn't really standing behind him. And he did everything that he could to try and, he did everything he could to try and impress him and make him happy, going as far as to destroy an ancient landmark. And then, of course, he got disqualified by Rose face to face, and that was devastating for him. And then Opal came and abducted him, and then we don't see him until the semifinals, where he barges in. And I know a lot of people have said it, but it always just makes me so happy. Like, before, he just like these void purple eyes, and now he's got a literal sparkle in his eyes. And his movements, like, I really like whenever he's pulling out his Pokemon, like, he pulls it up and he's just like that. And he's just like smirking, and then he just goes and throws his Pokemon out. And whenever he tells his Pokemon to do something, he snaps. Like, he's just like, get to it. Like, he seems, I guess that counted. I did touch my glasses a little bit. And he seems to, you know, not give a shit about his Pokemon. And now he's like very fluid, and he's like extending a hand like he's asking you to battle him instead of demanding it. And whenever he loses, he doesn't like throw a little bit of a tantrum. He just kind of, you know, gracefully accepts that he lost. Even whenever, like, of course in the tournaments, you know, he just like, why did I have the misfortune? Like, he's still an asshole, but he's nicer, and he doesn't have that expectation looming over him. So he feels like he doesn't have to be so protective. He doesn't have to put up a strong front to impress someone, because, you know, and he still has, like, he's still trying to live up to Opal's expectations, because that's just, you know, his nature, to want to be someone for someone else. But he's also doing it for himself. And he's just in a healthier environment, even though Opal makes him do laps and like giving him fairy boot training. But he's obviously so much happier. And he becomes, you know, he becomes the fairy gym leader, and he's just in a healthier place. And, you know, I'm pretty sure being an asshole is just his personality. It's not like how, like, it even said, you know, whenever he was in the orphanage, he would always pick fights with everyone. So he's never gonna not be an asshole, but he's also a lot gentler and less of an egotistical dick. And I loved him from the beginning, though. I'm not gonna lie to you. I would always, every time he showed up, I'd just like, bastard! Because I love a bastard. So those are my two favorite characters, and my two favorite character developments as of right now. And of course, you know, other characters in the story, you know, go through really good developments, except for Raihan, who's a very static character. But he's perfect the way he is, so that's fine. So yeah. Thanks for those suggestions, I have a hair in my mouth. Oh god. Don't touch your face. I'm gonna die. I have to end the video now. I have to take care of this. This is awful. Okay. Oh, I'm actually drawing Hop right now. So, I'll show, I've been drawing a lot, so I'll show my drawings tomorrow. Yay! So yeah, thank you everyone for that suggestion. And I know this has been a long-ass video, but, you know, whenever I go off, I go off. And it feels really good to just talk about, I'm so sorry. It feels really good to just talk about things that I like and I think about constantly. So, thank you. Memento Mori. Unus Annus.